Good day, everyone. Let's try to solve this algebra problem from the South Africa Juniors Mathematical Olympiad. And the problem goes, all 20 people in a business each have a direct phone line to every other person in the business. When two new people join the business, how many more direct lines must be installed? Now, in order to solve the problem, let's approach it by solving a similar but a simpler problem. So let's start with a business having three people. And remember that each people in the business should have a direct phone line to the other people in the business. So that means the first person will have a direct phone line to the second person. So this is the first line. And at the same time, this person, the first person, should have a direct line with the third person. That means from the first person, there are two phone lines. And of course, the second and the third person should also have a direct phone line to each other. You don't need to have a direct phone line from the second person to the first person because the first person already has a direct phone line to him. The same thing with the third person. Since the first person already has a direct line to him, then we don't need to have another direct phone line from the third person to the first person. So what is left is a direct line from the second person to the third person. So we will have another line. That means there will be one additional line. So all in all, there are three phone lines if a business has three persons. Now, let's say the business added two more people. So now from three people we have five people. And the same thing if we are going to let each person have a direct phone line to each of the other person, then the first person out of the five should have a direct line to the second, to the third, to the fourth, and to the fifth person. So we draw connections, therefore there will be four lines. Now, since the first person cannot have a direct line to himself, and since the second person already has a direct phone line coming from the first person, then we no longer have to create a phone line from the second person to the first person. All we have to do now is that we need to have a direct phone line from the second person going to the third, to the fourth, and to the fifth. So that will be three connections. That means we have to add another three connections. Now, from the third person, we need to have a direct phone line to the fourth and to the fifth. So there will be two additional connections needed. So there will be additional two phone lines. And lastly, the fourth person will have a direct phone line to the fifth person. So we connect that. That means there's another additional phone line, making the phone lines for the five people 10. So in this problem, if there are two additional persons added to the business, then then the number of lines will become 10. Now, before we proceed, as you can see here, for three lines, we have two lines from the first person and one line going to the third, to the second and to the third person. And for five people, we have four lines from the first person. We have three lines from the fourth person, two lines from the third person, and one line from the fourth person. Now, what you can see here is a pattern of the numbers that we are going to add. Notice that for three people, we started with two, and three is one less than two. And what we added after two is just one. And then for five people, we started with four. That's one less than the number of people, followed by three, two, one. So the same pattern as with the three. So what we can see is that in this problem, what we're going to do is we're going to take one less than the number of people and add the preceding numbers before it until we get the sum. So that means for 5 people, we have 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. That means if there are 6 people, that would be 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. If there are 7, 1 less than 7 is 6. Then add all the numbers that precedes it. So we have plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. We take that concept in solving the problem. But before that, remember, to get the number of additional phone lines, we have to subtract. Originally, there are 3 people, so there are 3 lines. When 2 people are added, we have 10 lines, so that means 7 lines have been added. So now, for 21 people, remember, we have to get 1 less the number of persons. So we have 20 and add all the numbers that precedes it. So we have 20 plus 19, so on and so forth until it reaches 1. Now, originally, there are 19 people. Now, we were able to get 21 because originally there are 19 people and 2 persons were added, making it 21. So that's why we have 21. Now, originally, there are 19 people. So the number of phone lines will be 1 less than the number of people. So that will be 18 plus all the numbers that precedes it until 1. So we have 18 plus 17 plus 16. It continues until 1. Now, as you notice, in both solutions, we have an arithmetic series with a common difference of 1. Now, we are asked to find the sum, so we use the formula for the sum of an arithmetic series, that is n over 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n, because we have the first term and we have the last term. So, for this one, we have from 20 to 1, there are 20 terms over 2. A sub 1 is 20 because that's the first term. A sub n is a sub 1, so that is s sub n is equals to 20 over 2 times 20 plus 1. And for 19 people, there will be 18 terms from 1 to 18. That's why it's 18 over 2. First term is 18, last term is 1. That's why we have the answer here. Now, doing some algebraic computations, this one gives us 210 and the other one gives us 171. Now, remember, we are asked to find for the additional phone lines. That means we need to subtract the number of phone lines needed by 21 people by the number of phone lines needed by 19 people. So you have 21 people minus 19 people, that's 210 minus 71, that gives you 39 lines. And this is our answer, and the problem is solved. So that's all for this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel for additional algebra challenge problems. Thank you so much. Enjoy learning.